Yes.
We are currently watching Blackbird on Apple TV, and I was just wondering, and Piper asked me a very interesting question in the middle of it, and I didn't know if maybe that did the show trigger that, or?
It wasn't the show. It's just like we paused it for a second and then
It all flooded
it
back.
flooded back. Yeah,
That's
from
funny.
earlier. I was like, what to talk about in my head, and then that came back.
She texted me during work and was like, "I need you to call me. I have a question about reincarnation." So, and then she ended up falling asleep, so it didn't work out to have a good phone call about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her to write it down for a podcast moment. And now she asked me the question. So, what is the question?
So with reincarnation, usually when I think of it, I think like you're living life as different people or things over and over until you reach enlightenment or nirvana or whatever it is. But I was thinking, as a Christian, what if reincarnation was a thing and there's like, because I was watching this psychic girl on Instagram that was suggested to me, and she was talking about how she doesn't believe in purgatory and believes in reincarnation. So that made me think, like, what if there is no purgatory? So how would people, like, get to heaven or hell otherwise? Like, what would be the deciding factor in that? And I was thinking reincarnation could be that deciding factor. Like, say you're not conscious of your life, like all your past lives. You don't remember them, apparently. That's what people say. You don't remember any of your past lives. But I am conscious of the life I'm living right now. So what if that's like my version of enlightenment as a Christian? Like, I have reached enlightenment throughout all of these lives I've lived. So I'm able to make it to heaven now, given that, you know, what if there's no purgatory, that thought. Because, like, what else would decide whether or not you go to heaven? Does that...
Okay, I can see what you're saying. So part of it too is that your consciousness is supposed to be wiped following your life. And so
Is that like a reincarnation type thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so with reincarnation, like your consciousness would be kind of like wiped in a way when you're reborn. Like, so
but like, how would I be conscious of it now? Like,
but
my
you're not
thought,
conscious of
it
past life.
confuses
You're only
me.
conscious of this life.
Yeah, but like, what about the next life?
So the thing is that you would basically reincarnate knowing the lessons you've learned without knowing the way in which you've learned them.
Okay.
But okay, so that's my argument against reincarnation begins there. So number one, 117 billion people have lived on Earth ever. Okay, how many people are alive right now? Around 8 billion. So we don't have enough human souls to have them be reincarnated now. Okay,
Well,
have everyone reincarnated now.
is there enough people dying and being born, and enough animals dying and being born?
So that's where I don't believe in. I believe in animals having souls, but they don't have the awareness of consciousness to work towards nirvana.
Yeah.
If you're speaking in
that's true.
terms of like getting to an ultimate end of nirvana or whatever, a dog only knows what you train it. A cat just knows to be a cunt. Ants only know to follow their queen and serve valiantly, and that's it. So even animals that are of higher consciousness, me and Ben spoke on this recently with dolphins. Like they are they're very intelligent beings, but they have no sense of morality in terms of like they will drag people to the bottom of the ocean and rape them. So like that is a phenomena that happens. In terms of morality, we judge things wrong or right. And so I believe that you would have to be reincarnated as a human. Okay, at that, you can argue, okay, then you can be reincarnated at any point in time on this earth. That's where, okay, no, I say
That
no.
is an argument?
That is the next step of this argument.
Okay.
Okay, I would say no, because the way in which we are in the now right now is because of all of the actions of the past until right now. Okay, so think of everything that you talk about whenever it comes to like crazy coincidences. Had you not dropped out of high school, had you not gone to then online school, had you not dropped out of college and then came back, we would have never met.
That is true.
Now, if I had not stayed at my high school when I knew I was going to transfer and was set up to transfer, and then fucking something crazy happened, and it turns out that I would have fucking gone broke doing that. Like, we were already broke, and we would have only been more broke. Like, it would, so, like, there's these crazy things that happen. Now, go all the way back of all of those crazy coincidences until the time that we're born. Now go back to our parents, and then their parents, and so on and so forth.
Wild.
So there are so many astronomical chances and things that happen to get to the now that they needed to be in that order. If I changed high schools, we never met. Okay? So all of these things had to happen in order to get to now. If my grandpa didn't go to Vietnam and then get stationed in Korea and end up marrying a Korean woman, like, and having my dad, I'm not here.
Wild.
Okay, so go all the way back to the beginning of time, to the beginning of humanity. All of these things had to happen to get here. Thus, you couldn't have an alternate reality existing right now before this to where there would be free will allowed, because all of those things would have to happen for now to exist. Free will is a requirement of a just, good God. Just with a capital J. Good with a capital G. And so, like, for these things to exist, like, you have to have free will. And so nobody before us could exist right now and be on the same timeline as us. So could there be infinite universes of existence? You can argue that, yes, but they wouldn't affect this one.
Yeah, I don't really, like, support it, the whole reincarnation idea. It was just something, like, it was making sense in my head when I was thinking about it as a potential thing, like, how life could work.
Well, no, and it so it
Like,
does
but a
it
lot
does
of-
make sense in a lot of ways. It's just there are little things that then I believe push towards my belief of purgatory.
Have you ever, this is another thing I was wondering. Okay, so do you think, just like your personal belief, do you think there is one heaven and one heaven only? Or have you considered it being like a thing where, like, everyone that believes in all of these different areas of religion, like all the different religions have followers, you know, that believe in something other than what the other people do.
Yeah, they all have their own intricacies of like what heaven is portrayed as,
Right.
or nirvana, or
What
the perfect
God
state
is
and
versus
yeah.
the gods, you know, like multiple gods. So do you think it is possible that all of these different, like, afterlives exist and that we go to our designated afterlife? Like, our afterlife would be Christian God, heaven, or hell.
Okay, so yes, and okay, so
It's just like
I believe in heaven in the same way that I believe in like hell. It is like I believe they're the same thing. They're a state of being. They're a state
Okay.
of existence.
I
So
think of
hell
it
is a choice
differently.
to choose against the good, and the good is God. And so in choosing to to go against good puts you in a state of the opposite of good, which we classify as evil, and that is known as hell, like in that state of existence. Okay, but if you choose to go like to do good and be good wholeheartedly and outright, and then, accept the goodness that would put you in a state of good, aka then becoming one with what we call God, the ultimate good, the ultimate thing that is. And so that thing, I believe that, like, the reason that we even exist, I believe, is because of a state of, like, me and Ben have discussed forms, and I know me and you have in the past, not on this, but like we have discussed forms before. It's a thing that exists. It just has to. 1 and 1 must equal 2. Okay. One of the things that exists in this world is good, and evil cannot exist without good. Okay. Evil is a lack of good. I believe in the privation theory of evil. It's a Thomas Aquinas, I believe, or is it Augustine? It's Augustine. Okay. Augustine has this belief in the privation of evil. Okay. So the privation of good is evil. Okay. So evil does not exist unless there is no good. Is the form. Without good, you are then in a state of evil. God exists, that ultimate good God. Okay. And so from that ultimate good, it is meant to be shared. That's how it makes sense to me. Okay. Like, ultimate good wants to share its goodness. Thus, love. Out of love is a thing that needs to be created to then share that love. Out of that love is a need for that person or that thing that is created to then choose to follow the good. That choice that is then comes from love is free will. From that free will, we choose whether to follow the good or not. Okay? That free will has to go in linear fashion in all of the timeline of existence of us to get to the now. Thus, you cannot have reincarnation happen at any other point in time than now. Okay? That love wants to be shared. That love wants to be shared in the utmost amount possible. Thus, we want to have kids. That's why, like, all values and all religions always say, we want you to have kids. We want you to do it's sidebar.
I learned a lot of people have stopped, like, having that desire, like, going against societal norms to just, like, be kidless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
saw that, like, it's becoming a thing where people are just not having kids.
I think because
and they've never been happier. Allegedly.
So they say. I do believe some people are born barren. Some people are born without the ability. Some people are born, like, without, having that ability. And that's like, so evils exist in this world. It is a privation of good. You're going to get me in a fucking hole of worms. Look, this is pure philosophy that I'm speaking. This is not, I have no emotion involved in this. This is all pure philosophy that comes from this, okay? So, based on the existence of good, we were created ultimately good. We have the choice to be evil. We have the choice, and being evil means just taking away from the good. Right. Okay? So, we were created wholeheartedly perfect. It is depicted in the Christian theology that we were perfect. Then we fell from Eden because of a choice. Okay? That choice is pride. That is where Lucifer chose to go against God. Then Lucifer chose to tempt Eve with, like, where we were supposed to be perfect beings, also created by God. There were angels created by God that were perfect beings. And then we were also created beings that were perfect, created by God. And then we were infiltrated because we had the free will. Okay? Excuse me, I got a burp. All right. Because of that, we fell from a state of perfection. I believe that state of perfection existed at some point in our existence, and I believe that the whole point of our existence is to return to that. Thus, in my eyes, we don't reincarnate, but we must go into a state of purgatory where we admit our fault, where we take away pride, we drop and kill the ego.
Right.
Thus existing in a perfection. Okay, returning to our state of perfection, returning to God. There is a very interesting theory to me about what you said when it comes to those religions all having the same, like all different forms of what heaven, or like the perfection existing is, the perfect existence is. There is a guy named Marcus. I've said his name 1,000 times. I keep wanting to say Marcus Aurelius.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
No, there's a guy named Marcus. Timeout. I gotta look it up. He's the founder of Onnit. Google, tell me. Aubrey Marcus. Okay. There's a guy named Aubrey Marcus, friends with Rogan.
Wow.
He is a very interesting person. He did a fuck ton of DMT. Okay. DMT, dimethyltryptamine, is a very interesting drug that exists. Okay. And when he did DMT, he was tripping nutsack, and he was in what he believed to be a state of just pure existence. And in that pure existence, he didn't have a great relationship with his father. And he thought about his father, and then his father was there. And they were able to have a conversation that they were never able to have while he was alive. And he felt a lot of peace come about him in having that conversation. And then he thought about something else, and then that thing was there. Okay. I am willing to put aside any belief of anything else and say that that seems to me to be the closest thing to perfection in a lot of ways. Because no, I'm not looking for earthly things of like, I'm not looking for sex. I'm not looking for that moment of high. I'm not pursuing happiness. I'm pursuing joy. Joy is everlasting happiness, everlasting good. Okay. And so in that existence, like, you have to admit fault. Like, if I were to have a conversation, one more conversation with my dad, I would admit so much fault. And I would pray that he would too. And thus, we can drop our fucking egos. That's why, like, I find psychedelics to be very interesting, because what is the terminology a lot of the fucking acid heads use is the ego death.
Oh, yeah.
Killing the ego. I find that to be very interesting, because in my eyes, the biggest sin of man is pride.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's annoying.
And so it's
an annoying trait.
By not killing your ego, you continue on in believing that you're ever right. I know that I have an ego. I know that I have pride.
You do.
At one point in my life, I was really good. I think
it's a guy thing.
At one point in my life, I was really good at checking it. That's an ego of yourself.
No, it's really not, because I've noticed it with every man I've ever encountered.
At one point in my life, have you ever noticed the ego with me? When we were out at Richmond, yes, motherfucker. When we were out in Richmond, did you not I felt that I was, especially when I studied Buddhism more and did a lot more of my own meditation and checking my own ego. Was I not a lot better at checking that ego? It seemed to me, in looking back,
I feel like you were better at thinking it through, thinking it out, but you weren't better at checking it. You weren't better at, like, holding it back, you know? You didn't stop it. You let nature take its course, full force, you know?
We'll agree to disagree. Okay. I do believe that I have been in better states, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've been better at thinking things through. Yes. Than you are currently.
Yes. Pondering before speaking is a big thing. And so that is okay, taking from other religions. I do believe that, like, okay, if you're a Christian and you want to fucking deem me to hell, do your thing, chicken wing. It's not my fucking deal. Okay? I don't believe that, right? Like, I don't believe in that, like, damning somebody to hell shit. That seems that's very egotistical in and of itself to think that you know.
Do you think it's egotistical to, like, be confident that you are going to heaven versus hell?
Yes.
Do you So wouldn't that be a sin in itself? Like
Yes,
prideful?
it is.
Ugh.
That's where killing the ego is.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. We're not willing, but that's the thing. Like the human condition, like a lot of times we're not willing to admit. Like, okay, so that's we'll bring in the extreme stealing scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the extreme stealing scenario, it's a thought experiment given in philosophy classes.
Yeah, I learned that in high school.
Yeah, in the extreme
philosophy
stealing
class.
scenario, there's a single mother and she is in a city unable to provide for her child and she needs food for their next meal. Okay. She has no way of getting money. Zero. Zilch. There is no other option. Okay. She must steal. This is an extreme scenario. We can all argue that she can hunt. I did in a philosophy class.
Yeah.
That girl got really pissed off at me. You can go pick up pennies. All right, whatever. We can all argue. But let's say, for the sake of the argument, she has no other option. Okay. In that experiment, she must steal to provide for her child to live another day. Okay. When she dies, she has to go about purgatory. In purgatory, you must say, I am sorry. I committed the sin of stealing, even though it was for the right reasons. I committed that sin.
Mm-hmm.
I did that evil. There you go. That's it. I have to admit that to myself and to God.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. I may have done it for the right reasons, but going back to like the Kantian theory of you wouldn't do something that not everybody in the world could do. Could everyone steal in the world?
Yes.
No. If everyone
No?
stole everybody's food,
I thought you meant like had the potential.
you can't perform an action that not every person could rightfully do. Could I murder? No. Because if I murder, thus everybody else can then murder, and then if I stab you, it goes on and so forth, so on and so forth until there's
oh my gosh,
no
this
one
is
left.
bringing back so many memories from my high school philosophy class. We talked about this.
Okay, that's Kantian theory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was really like, I did not understand it.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I did not understand it.
Immanuel Kant. There you go.
I did not like him.
So he has an interesting philosophy. I take from a lot of philosophies just as much as I take from a lot of theologies. I believe that Buddhism, in a lot of ways, is the best theology to have on earth whilst living. I believe in a lot of ways taking from a lot of Christianity is a really good way of looking at the afterlife. My true beliefs lie somewhere in the culmination of all the other ones that I have combined into this. Okay. Mm-hmm. Buddhism, when it comes to you kill the ego, there are 7 rites of passage of some way or another. There's all these things. There are these steps. Okay. Watch. It's not Naruto. Avatar. Avatar: The Last Airbender. There is an episode.
Classic.
You can just look it up on YouTube. It's just this clip of this episode, and it's on aligning the chakras and learning how to do these things. And so one of the like craziest things to think about is when it comes to the chakras is that there's a part where you have this pride and you have this existence of love, and like, okay, if somebody went to hurt you, I would fucking end them. Like, okay.
I love that.
And so that's pride in and of myself.
Yeah.
And that's my love for you.
That's so romantic.
But that's selfish in itself. Yeah? That feeling and that, okay?
Sure.
So you have to then kill that part of your ego.
Yeah.
And so there are many things that we don't realize that we have to do. And so that's where I believe Buddhism as a philosophy is a very good one to prepare you for an afterlife where you must do these things. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do I believe there's a God unlike the religion of Buddhism? well, technically speaking, it wouldn't be considered a religion if you're talking to a true Buddhist. But do I believe that there is a God? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that separate from what the Buddhist philosophy says? Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Also existing in the Buddhist philosophy is demons. Because when Siddhartha Gautama, aka the Buddha, was sitting underneath that tree, he confronts a fucking demon that he speaks to and tries to attack him for his past doings. And he has to kill that part of his ego that wants to fight that cunt. Okay? And he has to fight through that. Part of fighting through that is destroying himself in a lot of ways, because it's destroying the parts of himself that want whatever. It's destroying. So desire equals suffering. If you want no more, you will suffer no more. Suffering is because you want something instead of existing purely for what you are. Okay, so me and Ben happened to talk about this in a lot of ways in our last one we recorded, which was just based around like, I don't like. You want to help somebody. You want to help somebody. Why? Because a lot of people help people because they think it'll help them.
Like it'll help themselves.
Yes.
Personally.
But true love, true existence in the now, and feeling the truest form of love is doing it
that person.
Because it is good.
Yeah.
And that is the only reason.
Yeah, not for yourself, but to benefit
them.
Them.
It has nothing to do with you. Yeah. Selflessness, pure selflessness. And so that's where I believe in studying the philosophy of Buddhism in such a way, because it lines it out a lot better than I do believe that Christianity does. Christianity, you can argue with me all day if you're a fucking priest listening to this, okay? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying this one
all over the place.
Does it a lot better when it comes to how to put it into words. And I think a lot of Christians, especially I don't know, the ones that I've come encounter with, that they have been very prideful in if you don't do it this way, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this because because this is how you get to heaven. My end goal is not to get to heaven. My end goal is to purely align myself with the good again.
Now, would you say people that think they're, genuinely think they're doing good things for the world and for others, do you think that would be... It's hard to explain. Would God see it as that, or would he see it as the big picture? Or, I guess
as much as there's doing the wrong thing for the right reasons, there's doing the right thing for the wrong reasons.
Okay, so you would have to, admit to that.
That's the pride.
Okay.
I did all of that because I thought that would get me to you, God.
Okay. I see.
I was selfish as fuck. That's the end.
Yeah.
And you can't argue that. You have to admit that.
Have you seen The Good Place?
No, I
think
a lot of
really
people have told me to watch
they can't cuss in heaven, or it's called The Good Place, and they're The Good Place is heaven, and she tries to say fuck, but she says fork, and then she's like, what? We can't cuss in heaven? And I was just thinking about if I were in purgatory, being I fucked up, God, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's
I forked up.
That's one thing it kills me, dog. Because okay, if God is just and true, he knows that I am who I am. Yahweh, I am who I am.
Yeah. We
are God, just we are a part of God. We are to be aligned with God again. So we are as much God, we can be part of God again. This is not to fucking go, what is the word to where I'm going against the church outright. But
blasphemous?
Yes. I'm not being blasphemous here.
Yeah.
Okay? Jesus said this, okay? God is within you, okay? So part of God is me. I am part of God. And thus, I have to align myself with that part of me that is ultimately good, that is God. And so, I'm fucking part of that. Part of that is the way that I fucking speak. So, when I pray, I don't pray like, oh, God, please,
Yeah.
please do this for me. I'm a good Christian. No, dude. I'm gonna be like, hey, man, I, I'm fucking tired. I fucking worked my ass off. Like, I'm gonna fucking speak true to this God that I
Are your
believe
prayers
in.
explicit?
Yeah, very.
Mine are not.
Mine
Are
are
filtered
very-
to the bone.
No, because that's the thing. Be your truest self because you are part of God. God knows your true feelings. God knows who you really are.
I'll be in my head praying like, God, excuse my language, but fuck.
Yeah. I don't
Like,
I don't
I
know
bet
exactly
God's
do
over
that.
there cussing too.
So
But it's not that big of a deal.
one of my favorite things that I used to do in high school was pray in the shower and just sit there and fucking, because like you're in your purest form.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there butt ass naked. God,
Yep.
I am here naked as a jaybird as you fucking
Yep.
made me. As you put me in this fucking world, here I sit.
Facts.
All right, let's get fucking real.
Let's
And
get
that's
rowdy.
how I'd start that shit. And
Let's
like,
get rowdy in
then
prayer.
then I'd start thinking, and then I'd start praying, and we start going. And I found a lot of peace in those prayers. Like, you know, talk about.
And you know, that's a good place to do it too because you're just by yourself, no distractions. You're literally just in a, you know, really confined space. Literally, it's just a white, like, what is it?
White noise.
White noise, white walls, you, and your mind.
Yeah.
So you're just, like, the whole time I'm in the shower, if I don't have music going or anything, which I tend not to, I either get really depressed or just think about too much for that, like, 30 minutes.
So that's where the
I'm just,
practice
like,
of meditation
thinking.
helps.
Yeah.
Because you have to be comfortable with you. The only person that you live and die, the only person that's there when you die is you. No matter if you got somebody at your fucking side or whatever, there's only one person that's dying. That's you.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And so you have to admit and be okay with yourself. And you have to search within yourself how to do that.
Yeah.
If that takes years and years of fucking practice. I mean, dude, the Buddha, that dude left his fucking family. And then in all religion, like in many religions, like he is seen as a good guy. Like everybody in this world sees him as a good guy. Like, okay, so then what did he have? Like, what did he do? He made up for it in a lot of ways, I guess, by doing good. But also, like, that dude fucking had to do some soul searching in order to find peace for himself.
Yeah.
Like that's, and he ended up, I believe, and from what I remember, like he ended up going back and meeting them and trying to do right by them.
I've had a lot of, like, reality checks mentally lately. Like, thinking just that mind space or the mindset of, like, none of this matters. You know, like, someone was mean to me, boo-hoo, you know? Like, who gives a fuck?
So that's where outmost empathy.
My bank account is empty, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Easily fixable, it's not the end of the world. All of these things that felt like it was the end of my life, it's just not that way anymore. I'm thinking differently, like, not just, like, lately as in a couple days, like, lately as in, like, months, really.
You've spoke like this for the past few years. Because there are little things that I have noticed that you've checked yourself. I mean, I
speak it, yeah, but I haven't, like, actively thought it, made it a habitual thought, you know? Like, I'll still get in that headspace of, like, you know, this is the end all, and
we all do. That's where, like, we have the
not.
flaw. We have the flaw of humanity.
Yeah, like, sometimes I'll just get carried away with that thought. But other times, and a lot more lately, I'm able to, like, bring myself back, like, take a breather. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Meditate. Quit wanting.
Yeah.
You're desiring. You desire for people to like you. You desire for that stability that comes with money.
Mm-hmm.
Kill the desire and you end the suffering. And that's the thing. Like that, I believe I was much better about that not long ago than I am now. Now I am rejoining in a lot of ways the rat race because I know that people want things of me. I know that I have a lot of potential in a lot of ways, and that's what I desire to fulfill that potential so much that I believe it blinds me from what truly I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm with you there. Like that's kill the desire and it
Yeah.
ends the suffering. Like so
Yeah.
depression is looking at yesterday, anxiety is looking at tomorrow. Peace is being in the now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
That is so factual, and I think that's where I'm starting to have like calmer thoughts about things, because I've also noticed with those thoughts of just like it doesn't matter, it's not the end of the world, just take it as it is. I also have a lot less anxiety. Like I was having panic attacks even like a year into our relationship, I was having panic attacks all the time, more often than not. At school, at home, with you, by myself, stuff like that. And the more I practice, like, making the it is what it is mindset actually, like, a reality for myself, the less anxiety I have, the less depression I have. Because I know, like, all my depression stems and all my anxiety stems from me just thinking too much about what has happened and what could happen. I never just focus on, like, right here, right now, what's happening. Am I okay? Are things okay? And yes, always. In the now, yes. Could it be worse? Yes. Has it been worse? Yes.
that's doing like there's a guy, fuck, I wish I remembered his name, but I think his name's like the pygmy hunter, pygmy. No, not hunter. I'm sorry. That sounds fucking horrible. He doesn't hunt people. He pygmy something, but he's on Instagram and he was a UFC fighter who retired and took all the money and went to Africa and like did a bunch of shit. I think the big pygmy. I think that's his Instagram name. But like, you can fucking look it up. You'll get it. You'll figure it out. Like just by this description. But like he went to Africa and like then like used all his money to help out these people and shit and like. That's the thing, like just put away all your just true like just want to help people and what did you just say? I'm sorry. I lost my point.
Anxiety, depression. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, okay, so that's like I noticed like alright, we can cut that last fucking part out. But either way, Big Pygmy, fucking look him up. Dude's awesome. He just basically he took all of his money, went to Africa, and is living a fucking very good life serving others. But alright, like I talked about the other day with you. I'm sorry, I had a train of thought go by your thought, and then it went so far that I started talking when I was already on like the third step of my inner dialogue.
Okay.
Okay. I talked about with you the other day. I like sometimes like envy heroin addicts.
Yeah.
I envy people that are like content.
Yeah.
I envy people that just look for one more thing. I don't look at one more thing. I look at 1,000 things. And when I can have those 1,000 things. When should I do those 1,000 things? And then with those 1,000 things, here's those other things that come from that. And then how will I react to that? How will I do with this? None of that matters. Count. Oh, that's why I brought him up. Count your blessings. The big pygmy. That dude. He does. He's a big UFC fighter, fucking retired and all that. Like, took his money from his one win, did one UFC fight, took his money, fucking went to Africa, fucking paid like for all of this shit and built up a fucking village to help all these people. Okay, every morning he does a gratitude journal. count your fucking blessings. When you do this gratitude blessings, you realize in the now of having this anxiety, I'm having anxiety right now, thinking about all of these things, bring it back to right now.
Yeah.
I have a fucking shelter over my head. I have a woman that loves me. I have food in my fucking belly. I have some in surplus. I have water next to me. I have a job to make sure that all of these things can stay where they need to be. And if they go, I still have the rest of those things.
Yeah.
I don't care. Okay? I've lived in much worse and been in much more stress. And as I've said before, I've been a cunt hair away from being homeless. We're better off, in my eyes. I'm better off than I've ever fucking been now than ever before.
Yeah.
And that has been a reality. No matter if I've taken 10 steps back, mentally or physically, in the past fucking 5 years.
Yeah.
That's just a reality of existence for me. Yes, my dad died. Yes, that fucking ate away at me and that destroyed me mentally. But physically, where am I? I'm everywhere I need to be.
Yeah.
Okay? So mentally, that means I can just deal with these things. And I can bring myself back to now. And I can take it for what it is. And understand, yes, okay, he's gone. All right, now let's build something for ourselves. Now let's build something for the people around me. Now let's have love. Now let's spread that love. And let me focus in on how I can be the best version of me so that I can do everything else for other people.
Yeah.
When I did therapy, one of the things that they talk about is having to, like, okay, like I've always been a person that focuses on others, and sometimes you have to come back to yourself. I have always seen that as selfishness. However, no, the whole point of practicing meditation and practicing killing your ego is so that you can be the best version of you for others.
Yeah.
And so that's something that is always missed on me, is that what I believe to be selfishness in and of itself is selfless in a way.
Yeah.
There's, like I said earlier, doing the right thing for the good, for the wrong reasons, doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. That is something that I always missed and always saw as doing a right thing, but like wrong reasons. Like I saw it as selfish, but no, you have to be the best version of yourself in order to help the people around you the best.
That's
you can't,
very true.
you can't be a fucking wreck and then try and keep pushing to help other people, because you're just gonna fucking end up hurting them too.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
How long are we in?
Says 1319. 13.
Right. So we've been going for like 30, 40 minutes. How's that? How's that feel?
Feels good.
You did like 40 minutes of podcast. I know you was nervous.
In the beginning, yes.
And you talked about how you didn't want to do these.
I did.
But you see, it comes natural when you bring about a question that is can create a good flow.
Yeah.
You have to give yourself a couple minutes.
I was also really tired the other day and did not feel like doing it. And I was just like, fuck, let me get this out. Right now, I'm feeling good. So.
Good.
Is it hot in here?
It's
warm.
It's warm. It's not hot. You're wearing a sweatshirt.
I'm wearing shorts.
You're wearing a sweatshirt.
I'm wearing shorts.
My upper body is warm. My lower body's not. I'm in the
My entire body is warm.
Well, you're of the blood right now too.
Fuck, you're right. I am on my period.
But
okay.
What do you think? I mean, do you have any more questions involving these things? This is the shit that fascinates me. If you guys couldn't tell, I know that you know this of me because you see when I get excited.
Yes, I see it in your eyes.
I have to burp a lot because I get too caught up in like, trying to speak too fast.
You know, I don't have any questions off the top of my head. I need to start writing them down because, or like when we talk in the car, you know, those days we have, I need to start just jotting. I need to carry a notebook with me or something.
Yeah, I like to have that little.
I see why you do it now because
notepad whenever me and Ben are talking.
We do have a lot of these conversations that could go so many places.
And we started at reincarnation and we ended at,
Yeah.
Buddhism.
Right.
I mean, like, well, actually kind of one and the same, but we went down a path of Buddhism.
We went every
we went
which
through
way.
purgatory. And then, yeah, we went through purgatory, back around. We did a full circle, and it was a very it's a very fun circle for me to go through because philosophy is fascinating. In the end, you always end back kind of where you started. And if you don't know that about philosophy, keep listening because I have a philosophy on God and the existence. Like, okay, do you believe in God? In my eyes, the answer ends at yes or no, and it begins at yes or no.
Are you asking me?
We can talk about that later. No, it's an interesting topic for me.
Oh, okay.
I just.
Oh, you're right. Okay, it's clicking.
I just ripped a mean fart.
Well, stop there.
Honey Bun's about to fucking go
Dude,
down.
Honey Bun let out the meanest fart while she was napping earlier. It smelled like garbage. I was like, is the trash can open? No, it's Honey Bun's asshole.
You dirty bitch. You dirty bitch.
I'm so excited for little cobbler.
Bruh, I don't... You're trying to convince me to get a third fucking cat.
I did convince you.
In exchange for some things. Yes. What else? But it's just so hard to, like, get my head around.
What?
Live. I'm just, like, it's just hard, like, making a big decision. Like, I'm so fucking, like... back and forth. Like, yeah, let's make this. Fuck, I'm so scared.
I've noticed.
Let's do it. Fuck, I'm so scared. Like
for 3 years.
Oh, everything I do.
Literally everything
big.
You do.
Everything I do that's big. Yeah, that's like that I feel is big, even if it's not that big of a fucking deal.
Yeah.
I am scared. Funny enough, probably the most whimsical thing I've been like doing with you is just like, yeah, fucking tattoo me.
Yeah, for real. The most weirdest of things, like.
Yeah.
Stuff that should not be on your body. You're like, practice this.
A little duckling with a knife.
Yeah.
And a Latin phrase that means something really bad. But
I will.
Yeah, we're gonna have to cut that part out.
We can just bleep it out.
Nobody that's not
bleep and bleep
us
you.
or any of our friends needs to know that. I'll let you know it's not racist or anything like that. It's
not
just...
sexual. At all. It's not sexual at all.
It's like angry.
It's really aggressive.
It's aggressive sexual.
Yeah.
Ew. You can watch Nicolas Cage's history of cuss words, and you'll hear, if you watch long enough, you'll hear a Latin phrase.
And you'll know.
And you'll know what I wanted tattooed on my body. Because I was going to tell people it meant live, laugh, love. In Latin. And I really wanted to fucking see.
I forgot about that.
I really wanted to see if people would end up getting that tattoo on them.
That's so funny. Just telling everyone peace, love, and happiness.
Come on, guys. Get this tattoo. It means like whoever the person was, I was going to tell them it meant whatever the fuck they wanted to hear in that moment and pray that they got that tattooed on them.
It's like someone's really fucking depressed. They're like, oh, what does your tattoo mean? Sobbing. And you're like, it means you're one step closer to happiness.
Just keep swimming.
It means I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a song I heard today. I gotta show it to you. It's There's no destination.
I can't fucking understand shit for fuck you're saying.
Ooh, I gotta play it for you.
I wish people could see what the fuck I just saw. What the fuck?
It's okay. His name's like Fulgers.
Folgers. No good son of a...
Okay, let me play it for you.
Anybody that's a Chris Farley fan gets
sit
that
here.
reference.
Okay, so he's holding a sign and it says, sit here if you feel like giving up.
have been broken. Or maybe you would never believed that someone like you could have dreams that come true. But that ain't the way it's got to be. You might.
He reminds me of the hatchet wielding hitchhiker. I'll show you him in a second.
Kai?
He looks just like Kai.
Be close, close to the edge, close like a heartbeat, it's close to the chest. But don't you let go, don't you give in. You don't know when changes.
He starts crying.
We'll put, dude. That's what we gotta start doing. We gotta start putting the music that we mention in the fucking description of the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Alright, so in the last episode we need to put Where's God? Or no, not Where's God. Miracles.
Miracles.
Insane Clown Posse.
Yes.
And the fucking, yeah.
I can edit it.
And like I know that I mentioned music in other songs. Put that fucking song, whatever what was the name of that?
It's called Close to the Edge. By Fulton Lee.
Yeah, put that bitch in the fucking description.
Yeah. It's really fucking
That's really
good.
interesting. No, I dig it. The message behind it and everything. Like, that's all, like, dude, listening to songs like that and, like, Love Yours by fucking J. Cole. Like,
yeah.
That song, like, it saved people's life and shit like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy to me is how dark some of the music that I love is and the emotion that it invokes, and then seeing like the people that wrote it. Like one of the fucking like the most powerful fucking vocal performance that I show you that in my eyes is Given Up by Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Chester Bennington fucking murders this fucking screaming, but listen to the words in which he's saying is fucking like, you know, hey buddy. Tater's in my fucking face. Tater jumps up in my face in the middle of this. But the words in which he's saying, you know, fucking in this misery and shit, you know, like, he's just, you know, it's so depressing in the end to think about the lead, like how it ended, and his unfortunate suicide. But like that song, we were listening to we were watching that show Blackbird, and that song I told you is a great fucking song.
Yeah.
Fell on Black Days by fucking Soundgarden.
Oh.
Chris Cornell.
Okay.
Wrote that. Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
Unfortunately ended in suicide. However, he fucking wrote some of the most depressing but most meaningful songs. That's one of the like the quotes that I saw on like a Linkin Park fan page was talking about like Chester Bennington helped the millions feel that they finally had a voice, but the millions could not make him feel like he had one. And that he saved millions of people's lives, but those millions couldn't save his one. And it is hard, like it's hard to feel, and like it.
That cuts deep.
That's the thing is that like, fuck you, dude. You sound I know you mean it, but you sound so fucking monotone. You sound so fucking monotone.
It sounded really fake, but I'm so genuine right now. It's a blessing and a curse. Being like
it's hilarious at some point, but
know.
it's so hurtful.
I know.
I know. No, because I knew where you were going with it. It was just funny. I needed you to be aware of what you sounded like right there.
I was aware, and I'm always aware. I just can't do anything about it. That's why I think, like, if I ever tried to get into acting, I don't think I'd get a single role, or I'd play the same role over and over.
Some
because
people
I
made
can't
a career
do
out of that one.
Huh?
Some people made a career out of that.
Angus Cloud.
Who the fuck is that?
He's Fez from Euphoria.
Dude's been in like 3 fucking things. How can you say that? You've been typecasted already?
No, he's been in. He just like they cast him. Okay, they cast him to play himself, basically. Like that's what I'm saying. I would have to do. I would have to be cast as myself, this monotone person.
Okay, very well. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Just plays himself in everything.
What does he say? What is that video that you showed me?
Do you smell with The Rock? You was cooking.
Yes.
Jesse, my older brother used to fucking scream that at the top of his lungs when we were little,
so
dog.
funny.
It was so fucking funny. We used to always do this shit. I mean, like, my little brother was, like, obsessed with wrestling, and, like, we were, like, getting to the age of, like, moving out of it, but he had so much passion for it that, like, it always brought us back, and we'd always watch Monday Night Raw, Wednesday ECW, Friday Night SmackDown. Fucking, if there was a pay-per-view, every now and then we'd get them. It was, like, the most special fucking shit to get was, like, getting those fucking pay-per-views for wrestling. Like, that was the shit.
Our thing, we didn't really have a thing like that, actually. We didn't.
You guys are girls.
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah.
Did you guys have, like, a family thing that you did?
No. Not that I can remember. We had, like, no.
See, that's the thing. Y'all have a very nice family. I had a very dysfunctional family and have a very dysfunctional family. And it is interesting to me to see, like, I want to combine the things that I loved and the things that you loved and then put those together to make our, you know, our family.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting seeing some of the things like that we did as the most dysfunctional, fucked up people. Yeah. And then seeing some of the things that y'all didn't do, and I'm like, what? Like, this seems like that would be a thing that, like, everyone would do. If we did it, of course people did it.
I had grown up with brothers, like, but he's like, he was 18 when I was born, you know?
Yeah.
So.
You had to cut names, dog. There's a couple.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, if I had grown up with brothers in the house, I think it would have been a lot more, like, relatable for me to you, you know what I'm saying? But given that it was just girls in the house,
like, growing up
my dad sort of had to, like, conform
to the girl way of life. What was, like, well, like, you talked, like, y'all did movies, like, y'all watched a lot of movies and shit, right?
Oh my gosh, that is something we did because we were broke as shit. So all we did for our little party nights, we would have them every Friday when I was little, and we lived on the west side of town. We either had movie nights and, like, homemade pizza, popcorn, bring the mattress outside and, like, dance party, jump on the mattress, like, all these things kids find really fun. And it was a great time because that's all we could afford to do. It was just, like, jailbreak stuff and watch movies at home, you know? That's kind of, like, I'm sure why my dad did it, because we couldn't afford to, like, go do movies in movie theaters all, like, every week. So he would jailbreak stuff. We'd watch the movies and we'd have a blast. But we also had a pool. So we would, like, sit outside with this, like, old projector because we had a concrete wall. We had, like, before the pool was put in, we had this really big hill in our backyard, and it was dug into, and to keep all of the rest of the hill from, like, collapsing or anything, they had to put up a cement wall to hold it back. And it was big enough to, like, project the movie on. So we would just sit outside by the pool and watch movies. I'd invite friends over and we'd just watch movies, night swim, stuff like that. Now, I say I was broke, okay?
I was so about to point that the fuck out.
We had money when I was little. We moved to Florida, came back to that same house that had already had a pool when we had money. We came back to that house after we were broke. We afford keeping up with the pool. We afford bills, you know, like, we can pay that stuff. We could not have put in that pool after we got back from Florida.
You were American broke.
We were, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we We were broke for several years after the move back from Florida and while we were in Florida. But we weren't broke, like, our entire childhood, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask. Because it started, like, making sense in my head. Like, that's not going to sound right.
I had a pool.
Like, how was I broke with a pool?
I had a pool and it was built into the ground.
It pissed me off, though, because people would always say, like, oh, you have a pool? You're fucking rich. No, I'm not.
It depends on the type of pool. Because my crackhead ass neighbors back when I grew up.
It wasn't an
had a little
inflatable
floaty
above
motherfucker,
ground
dog.
pool. It was a pool.
That bitch was green as Shrek's dick. That shit was fucking nasty, bro.
No, we had.
They asked me to come over and swim when I was little, and I was like, I'm actually cool.
We had an underground like cement pavement pool. You know, we had it, and it was fun, and that's all I miss from that house. Because we did, like, when we got back, it just never felt like home. Because it never was finished. It was just sort of, like, random shit everywhere. It was worse than this, you know?
Does it feel like every apartment we live in?
Yeah, it was like, let me think. It was just like our most recent place before this.
Yeah.
Just nothing looked like it belonged where it should have been.
Yeah. Well, because there was so much space.
That's what
I'm saying.
But
also the fact that we didn't feel like, we weren't going to get more shit to fill the space because we just had to move out again.
Right.
That's, even talk about one of the things that struggles with me the most, like when it's like I want to get a fucking house, I want to have something to call my own, is because of that. Number one, I fucking hate moving. Number two, like, like I want to fucking feel like I've actually settled somewhere. That's why, like, as soon as we get to places, I'm like, all right, let's put up the art. Yeah. When we move, do you remember like when I went to Night Hall and like COVID happened and like me and you had just started snapping like each other? Like one of the first thing when I got to that fucking room, like that first night, like I was sitting there.
Put up a tapestry.
That first night I was sitting there feeling all fucking weird and like I sat there looking at the walls and I was like, something's fucked up. And so I started putting up the art. And bing, bang, boom, I was like, oh, like I feel so much better. Because I finally made it my own. It's not like a
prison cell anymore.
Yeah, I finally did something to make it my fucking thing. Yeah. And like, now it's my shit now. Yeah. All right, cool. We put these two beds together.
I think we're going to have a really cool house when it comes time to buy one. Like, with all the art we've acquired, all the tapestries, and our style, and like, the hippie look.
You know what's gonna make me so fucking excited?
What?
Having, like, wherever we go, hopefully, it's got like an extra bedroom or some shit, so I can unpack all the bullshit that I keep in my totes that I have.
Oh yeah.
I have them for a reason. It's all there for a reason.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like
we just don't.
I either need a fucking garage, or like a man cave room, or like a basement corner.
That's why I'm
that
happy
I can
we're
put
getting that
my
storage
shit
closet.
Somewhere. Yeah, because it's like I have stuff of my dad's that like I want to keep around. I have that blanket that I got that's made. A friend of mine got me a blanket made right after my dad passed away with all the shirts that he has. And not all, but like a lot of the shirts that he wore, and like that's very meaningful and touching to me, but I'm not putting that up in my fucking apartment, like to look at and get depressed at every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going up in the living room. I don't want it to go up in a side room because, like, I don't know, it just seems weird. But if I put it up in a side room in my house that nobody else goes into, or like a man cave area, I can at least have it to be like, this is my fucking thing. This is my area. Yeah. So nobody else can really judge what the fuck I put up in here. Right. Like, granted, I don't give a fuck what anybody else feels, but also, like, I am a gracious host. Like, I don't want it to get fucking awkward. And they'd be like, oh, what's this quilt? And I'm like, oh, you're my dead fucking dad. Like, yeah. Let me tell this story for the 9,000th fucking time. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's like there's shit like that I have that is very sentimental and such, but like I don't ever want to unpack it until I get to a place that I can call my
I
own because
see.
it's just not.
See, had you explained that when we first got into like living together, I would have like laid off of that. You've never explained that.
What's
That
that?
you're just waiting for somewhere to put it. I thought you were just a hoarder this whole time.
I'm
That
a
you
hoarder
just
of shit that I
failed to,
care
like,
about.
I know, but I didn't know you cared about it for whatever reason. I thought it was just random stuff, like, you're just keeping around just because, like, maybe it'll be useful, but it probably won't be, type of thing.
There's a couple of those.
I know,
But
but
I still find them to be pretty fucking useful. Like, I have wiring for, like, to wire up a car speaker. And guess what,
it'd be
motherfucker?
so
My car
cool.
speakers just went out.
It'd be so cool. If we, that turf you showed me in Sam's Club?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say to line a motherfucking van with it, I'm swinging.
No.
Alright.
No. If we had, like,
I'd just like to say that I fucking told her we should do that years ago, and she was like, that sounds dumb.
No.
And then she touched it the other day and was like, that felt good.
Okay, anyway. If we had, like, a sunroom and lined the floor with that and filled it with plants and, like...
It's not your worst idea.
I know. Make it, like, outdoorsy sunroom without being open, It's, like, still enclosed, but it feels like you're outside.
Okay, alright. That actually made me think of this thing. Okay, any biology majors out there? I have a lot of friends from college and shit. Alright, any of you guys want to talk to me about this? I am really interested. Okay, so there are these plants. There's C3, C4, and CAM plants, okay? I believe it's C4 plants open up at night, and that's when their stoma opens and they release all the oxygen and take in carbon
Lorraine
dioxide.
showed me a picture of those. She has some.
Okay, so my thought, they say snake plants are really good to keep in your room because they help like release oxygen and like help you sleep better. My thoughts are, okay, so what is the oxygen beds that they have that like give you like a shit ton of oxygen? You heal a lot faster, your body feels better, and you're like it's really good for the body. Like NFL players and shit use them all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what if you just put a bunch of fucking C4 plants in your room at night when you sleep? Now you have a super hyper oxygenated room. Now you've created a natural hyper oxygen area. You sleep better when you have more oxygen.
Sleep apnea?
I don't think you want to start this conversation. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because number one, you don't fucking wear the mouthpiece they gave you. That your jaw cracked for years.
Yeah. I'm wearing that tonight. Mark my words.
I fucking will. And when we go to sleep tonight and you don't have it in your mouth, these hands is free, dog. Should have wore your mouthpiece, bro.
Oh my gosh.
but there's multiple reasons for fucking sleep apnea, and I'd say genetically you're very inclined to it.
Yeah, I am. Both my parents have it, so.
Also.
And my grandma had it.
There are also physical reasons because of it. And
are you calling me fat?
There's no way to say it as a man that doesn't sound bad.
So you're calling me fat?
No.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying purely based off of
my weight?
No.
Uh-huh.
When I lost all of my weight, I lost a lot of weight off my neck, and I noticed I sleep a lot better.
So you're calling me fat? Wow.
I've gotten fat. No, I'm fat.
I've lost weight. Am I still snoring as bad? Yes.
Yeah.
I woke myself up last night snoring.
Yeah. It's crazy. He also woke up at midnight because hell smacked the window so fucking hard that I thought the window broke.
Literally, I was like...
The cats fucking like were like... The cat started fucking
I was
meowing.
like in bed, and then like fading in and out of sleep just listening to that. The whole time I was like praying, like, God, if this is it, fucking take me now.
I was thinking about it, and because I'm such like a preparer. Like I hate being in an upstairs apartment.
Yeah.
For the reason of like, if shit hits the fan, we don't know anybody downstairs. Do I just go kick a fucking door in and be like, ah? Like I gotta chill here, dog. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Like, the only thing we could do is go barricade ourselves in the motherfucking bathroom.
Yeah,
Get in the
I mean,
tub.
there's windows literally everywhere in here.
Yeah, get in the tub. That's about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Fuck it. I guess that also is like the center point, and like that's a central wall, so that's probably your sturdiest point to be in. That's smart. We should probably yeah, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
Other than downstairs, but we'll be alright.
We'll be alright. Should I do the
means come here and cat. She is the clapping outside.
Fucking asshole.
Our neighbors are clapping.
What a cunt.
The fucking dude, like they sat there looking at me last night, and I sat there looking at them like when that hell was hitting, and they were like, "What do we do?" And I was like, "I don't know. What do I do?" Like, they were freaking the fuck out. Honey Bun was sitting there laying on me and was just staring in my eyes, like, "Dude, fucking tell me, like, do I need to freak the fuck out right now? Do I need to scratch the shit out of you when I run?"
Okay, I have to pee. I've had to pee for like a straight hour.
Perfect. All right. Well, it's been a great podcast. First one ever done with you, dude. So I'm glad that you finally did it. I'm glad that it came about organically.
Yeah,
I love you. Fuck yeah.
I love you as well.
To all of y'all listening,
XOXO.
I love you too. XOXO, whatever the fuck.
Mwah.
Fucking